In recent months, there's been a lot of people attempting to rewrite history on just how famous Michael Jackson was. Let's make something clear. As far as modern times goes, Michael Jackson is without a doubt the most famous person to walk the face of this planet. And in this age of the internet, social media, and instant accessibility, so to speak, there's a lot of people who don't understand not just how famous Michael Jackson was, but how rare that fame is. Again, he is the most famous person in modern times to walk the face of this planet. So how rare it was to have that during the era that he had that in. Michael Jackson was known in the most remote locations in the world where they didn't even have access to television. Michael Jackson could barely go anywhere without a huge crowd following him. And when we say anywhere, we literally mean anywhere. That includes the doctor's office, shopping at a store, going out to dinner. He would literally be surrounded with loads of people and paparazzi everywhere he went. And Michael Jackson's level of fame was once again achieved without any internet or social media. So, just how famous was Michael Jackson? Well, we can show you better than we can tell you. So we'll begin with the infamous footage of the crowds, the massive crowds that would surround him outside of his hotel, his cars, while he was shopping, etc., etc. And we will once again remind you that these were not performances. All of these people and all of the paparazzi, they were all there just to see Michael Jackson. That's it.
Ich habe nur gesagt, geht bitte runter, seid so gut, Mike möchte die Fans sehen und möchte die
Just blinded me.
著名かつ人格的にも素晴らしい、しかもタレントに満ちた、才能に満ちた著名な建築家。
Michael Jackson was so important that when he would go to other countries, he would be welcomed by dignitaries and military officials and royals. Michael was even crowned a king in Africa in 1992. We hear the phrase breaking the internet a lot, but Michael Jackson's death on June 25th, 2009 quite literally broke the internet. There were so many sites that did not work for a certain amount of time. Wikipedia went down, LA Times went down, AOL went down, TMZ went down, Twitter, as it was known then, went down. And what's more, according to certain reports, there was an average of 4.2 million people searching the term Michael Jackson on Google each minute, or per minute, rather. So that means every minute for a certain amount of time, 4.2 million people were searching the term Michael Jackson. And on top of that, it was reported that Michael's death slowed down or halted the war in Iraq for about 24 hours. In late 1991, the short film for Black or White premiered simultaneously in 27 countries, and 500 million people, we reiterate, 500 million people tuned in to watch the premiere. It is the most ever for a music video. Now, let's just take a minute to put that 500 million number into perspective, because we don't think you guys understand just how crazy that is. Keep in mind, this isn't just pre-internet, right? This is pre-2006 YouTube. And to that point, Michael Jackson's short films were must-see national history-making events. People didn't want to miss it, right? And then on top of that, there weren't different premieres for different time zones and countries, et cetera, et cetera. There was one premiere, and that was it. So that means that there were people watching all over the world at all different times. It could, there were people at 4 a.m. watching the premiere of Black or White, depending on where they were at. And when you break down that 500 million stat even deeper, that is 1 out of every 11 people on the planet. On the planet that were tuned in live to the premiere of Black or White. That is an insane stat. That is something only Michael Jackson could do. And once again, that's crazy to think that 1 out of every 11 people on the planet were tuned in live to see the premiere. On top of that, right, that 500 million that tuned in to watch the premiere of Black or White is double the US population at that time, which was 250 million people. Michael's interview with Oprah in February 1993 recorded over 90 million viewers. It was the 20th most watched program in Nielsen ratings history, and it is considered the most watched television interview ever. To follow that up, 2 years later, in June 1995, Michael and Lisa Marie Presley's interview with Diane Sawyer on Primetime Live garnered over 60 million viewers. So that again puts that in that same category of most watched interviews and most tuned into programs ever. Michael Jackson's silhouette, his poses, his shoes, his toe stands, etc., are so widely recognizable that people just see those things individually and know it's Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is so famous that his impersonators are famous. So, in short, you might be famous, but nobody, and we do mean nobody, will ever be as famous as Michael Jackson. We've got plenty more of these types of videos in store for you. But as always, thanks for tuning in. And remember, facts don't lie, but people do.